Hello everyone, and welcome back. I'm Bones McGee, and as you can see, I have some new skeleton drip. Don't let that distract you though from the amount of learning we're going to do today. Today we're going to take a deeper dive into the weapons of Sea of Thieves. Before we begin, I'd like to make an important reminder that all the weapon variations in this game are cosmetic only. No weapons in the shop are going to deal more damage than the other. So they all behave the same. So it doesn't matter which one you choose, as long as you pick the one that you like. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started. First weapon I'm going to talk about is the sword. A lot of players say that this weapon has no skill, but there is a skill ceiling, and it's an important weapon to learn. So let's get started. Left mouse button is a simple swing that can be chained into a 3-hit combo if you land it on an enemy player or a monster. The third hit in that combo deals knockback, and can be useful for keeping enemies at bay. Holding left click allows you to perform a sword lunge, which deals more damage, but has a bit of a punishment system where you will become stunned if you miss your target, and unable to move for a short time. You can block with right mouse button, which blocks any melee attacks in the direction you're facing. You can also chain hits from a block, or sword lunge from a block. Interestingly enough, sword lunging from a block provides more movement control than if you were to sword lunge from outside of a block. So keep that in mind. The sword also has some important movement tech tied to it that's important to learn if you want to master this game, and it's called the sword jump. The sword jump is a little interesting bit of movement tech that can be activated by timing a jump right when you sword lunge. Unfortunately, however, you can't do this with a normal sword lunge, as it doesn't allow you to jump. Well, as you can see, you can kind of do it, but it doesn't work as well. It only works really at the end of the lunge. However, if you block and then sword lunge, you can jump at any point. This is important. If you time a jump right when you start to lunge, you can send yourself flying, as shown. I shall demonstrate again. That one looks better. This is a very important movement tech to learn, as it allows you to get easy stealth boards on ships, as well as traverse large areas, especially if water is involved to carry your momentum, like shown. Before we continue on to the next weapon, there is one thing I forgot to mention about the sword, and that is that when you're blocking and you're pressing a directional input and pressing space, you can dodge or sword hop. This can be used to jump through enemies and dodge incoming melee attacks to get into weak points. It can also be great for disorienting your enemies if you jump right through them. Up next is the pistol, a decent, medium-range all-rounder weapon that can be used in a variety of situations. Holding down the right button allows you to aim down sights, and pushing left-click fires the pistol. Aiming down sights while firing, naturally, is more accurate. The reminder I gave earlier about cosmetic differences being cosmetic only almost doesn't apply to the pistol. The pistol still deals the same damage throughout its cosmetic variants, but actually each one has different iron sights and can help or hinder your aim. As you can see, the sailor pistol here, which is the one you start with, is a perfectly fine iron sight that hits its mark. It can take a little bit getting used to, but it works for what it's used for. There are other pistols, though, that have far superior sights, such as the Ebon Flintlock is probably the most notorious example. It has a perfectly placed iron sight that hits its mark every time. The Ebon Flintlock, though, is hard to get, as you can only get it through Twitch drops nowadays, and it's fairly rare. But there are other cosmetic variants available in the shop that have the same sight, like the Mercenary Pistol, and the Cultured Aristocrat Pistol, for example, all have the same iron sight. There are some pistols, however, that hinder your aim. For example, the Tribute Peak pistol. This pistol is a terrible iron sight and doesn't hit its mark very well. It fires a little bit to the right. Just a tiny little bit, though. You could get used to this, since it's consistent, but it's still not a very good iron sight. Or, as a better example, the Party Boat pistol. This is an atrocious sight. You don't ever use this, because, well, it looks like it's going to land right where that little flared bit of the barrel is. It actually lands about a foot below that. So as you can see, this pistol is not very good at all for landing your mark. In fact, you have to pretty much cover your entire target at long distances to even be able to hit it. So pick a pistol that's right for you and has a good iron sight, like the Eben Flintlock. Up next is the Blunderbus, an excellent close-range weapon that deals high damage, but is inaccurate at longer ranges. Pressing the left mouse button will fire it in a large cone, while holding right mouse button will choke your Blunderbus and allow you to fire it in a bit of a smaller cone. I see too many new players trying to use this as a long-distance weapon in the hopes of getting enough damage in to kill somebody, and we refer to this as blunder sniping. Don't blunder snipe. The Blunderbus is effectively useless outside of short range, so you're not going to get much done at medium to long range with this weapon. But if you're nice and close, and all your pellets land, like so, that's enough to one-shot a player. And last, we have the Eye of Reach, the game's sniper rifle of sorts. Essentially a musket with a spyglass mounted on top of it, which is a neat little detail. When aiming down the sights of the Eye of Reach, you'll notice it doesn't have a traditional crosshair. Instead, the lens is cracked towards the center, and that functions as a makeshift crosshair. Then you use this to acquire your targets. For example, that torch over there. This gun takes a little bit of getting used to, but deals high damage, and once you learn to lead your targets at long distances, it can be deadly. Unlike other weapons, it also has the longest bullet drop, allowing it to be more effectively used at longer ranges. I know this was a shorter one compared to last time, but that's the end of this tutorial. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more tutorials. And I'll see you guys next time.